Welcome back to Weekly Briefing. The CDC this week, in a surprising move, changed the recommended quarantine from 10 days down to 5 after testing positive for COVID. Dr. Fauci went on CNN to explain why this change is happening now.
One of the things we want to be careful of is that we don't have so many people out. I mean, obviously, if you have symptoms, you should not be out. But if you are asymptomatic and you are infected, we want to get people back to the jobs, particularly those with essential jobs, to keep our society running smoothly.
This seems like he just changed the rules for himself because it was convenient.
Would he do that? No.
So are we going to see a shift in the way COVID's covered?
Well, I think what's interesting here, Christina, is I don't think it's necessarily a shift in the way COVID is covered, but I think it's the shift in the way COVID is perceived. Because the other thing that John McLaughlin said in their recent polling is, he said that it is clear to him that the American public is losing confidence in the medical apparatus, meaning the NIH and the Fauci organization, the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases, the Fauci organization, Fauci land, to basically tell the American people what they need to know accurately and in a timely manner with regard to COVID. The most recent example is this 5-day quarantining period. And as they say on Perry Mason, it's arbitrary, capricious, and probably irrelevant because it keeps changing. And we've seen with a lot of these guidelines, the masks, everything else, it keeps changing. And so the fact is that it doesn't seem like anybody really knows what they're doing. Increasingly, according to the polls anyway, the American people are catching on less and less confidence in the medical establishment to actually tell them what to do with regard to COVID.
And there doesn't seem to be any, like normally we would rely on science, and they had heralded themselves as the science pushers, but yet nothing that they're doing is actually based on
That's
science.
because the science keeps changing. It keeps changing. You have to keep up with it.
Yes, I'm behind on the latest science. All right. Booster madness has been on everyone's mind lately, and we've talked on the show before about the craziness of never-ending COVID vaccines. But an article from the New York Times is pointing out that in Israel, as they're getting ready to give out fourth shots, scientists are saying this may actually diminish the effectiveness of the vaccine. Derek, how do you feel about 4 shots in a year?
Here's the thing. It was on your show a couple months ago, and we all talked about who had been vaccinated. I'd been vaccinated. I've had the Pfizer. I'm not getting a booster. And here's the reason why. Because even with the vaccine, I caught COVID. But the thing about it is, I got up, I felt it, I got up, and I started running. And that's the thing about it. You got to get up and get this thing out of you. And instead of the White House promoting all of this fear, they should be promoting a healthy lifestyle. Okay, how not to get COVID, as opposed to, it's fear, and all. And I think that right there is, again, part of their messaging to continue to keep this nation divided. That's the main thing with this, keep people divided and keep fear in the hearts and minds of Americans.
I think you're right. I think people are tired of boosters. Tim, what do you think? How many boosters, before people start getting punch cards?
I think we just keep them going. Let's just keep rolling them all out. Booster number 10. I think this is nuts. This is all about control, as Derek said. Derek, I agree that they should be promoting a healthy lifestyle, but that doesn't get votes. What gets votes is fear. That you have to have a boogeyman for your electorate to not want to support and to go over and support your folks. And so Joe Biden knows that he's got a midterm election coming up, and then his own re-election, God help us. But he knows that talking about booster and fear is what is going to get those votes for him. And so that's why it's still on the forefront.
I don't know. Jim, I agree with your assessment. Do you, Jim, think boosters are going to get votes?
No, boosters are going to kill votes, and that's what they're figuring out now. They're figuring that out. They're figuring out that lockdowns kill votes and all these things. But you know what we're not hearing about is natural immunity. Mm-hmm. If you got COVID, hey, guess what? You get antibodies from that. You don't have to pay for them from Pfizer.
That's right.
You can actually survive the disease, and then the antibodies come along with that. And they don't want to talk about that because that gets in the way of their boost and jab and mask and lockdown policy.
Exactly. The issue is that only 99% of people survive COVID, and so that's a big problem. Right? Yeah, it's huge.
Man, if we had a higher death rate. But I've actually wondered, because everyone's expecting this midterm variant to rear its head, but I'm wondering if it's just not going to work because, oh my goodness, the science is that people are actually immune to it. Herd immunity is a thing. People are living healthy. Like, their plan to just continue to commit biological warfare on the American people isn't going to work.
And they keep having to change the messaging and the narrative, because one time it's just Republicans who didn't want to get the vaccine.
Right.
And then it was minorities didn't want to get it. This is like, now they're like, oh, it's just nobody wants to get this
Nobody
vaccine.
wants what you're
Done playing their games because they haven't been right. All right, if the science was behind it, and science evolves, that's first of all. We knew this was a new thing, and they pretended they could understand it right away.
Yeah.
I took 2 trips across the country in June and July, and then in October, November. 15,000 miles in real America,
Right.
outside the swamp. I wore a mask once
Right.
in California.
Yeah.
All right, and that was the only time. Everyone else is living their lives. We're done.
Yeah,
We're done
everyone
playing,
else-
and
everyone else
that
is
they
done
need
with
to
it.
accept that.
All right, it is time for the lightning round. Here we have 3 minutes and give the panelists each 10 seconds to answer and get through as many questions as possible. We'll start with Tim. What are you most looking forward to in 2022?
I'm most looking forward to Glenn Youngkin, the Republican governor. He will be the 74th governor of Virginia. He gets sworn in January 15th.
All right, Jim.
I'm looking forward to it not being 2021.
Derek.
I'm looking forward to midterm elections.
Yes, amen. John.
A 24-hour vaccine-arama followed by a booster-arama.
Okay. All right, Tim. Will things get better or worse for Democrats in
It's going to
2022?
get worse. It's going to get totally worse.
Jim.
What's the step beyond a tsunami? Is it a global collapse? They're toast.
A flood, yeah.
I can't imagine it getting getting better.
Yeah,
for
I
them
don't know
at
what
all.
they can do.
No.
Yeah.
Can't get worse, so it'll get better.
Wow.
Oh, all right. That's
There's always a dead cat bounce.
the strong stance to take, John. Okay, Tim. How did Kamala Harris celebrate New Year's Eve?
Cackling. She just laughed all the way through it. Yep.
Exactly. She spent it annoying everyone who was within earshot of her.
I agree with him.
I know. How do you meet that? All right, John.
Kamala Harris, New Year's Eve, she spent with Bette Midler in West Virginia with the unintelligent, uneducated West Virginians sheltering down from COVID.
All right, very good. Okay, Tim. When will the Biden-Harris administration come out of hiding?
They're currently looking for new staff since everyone's quit working for the vice president. And so when they get a new staff, they'll come out of hiding.
Okay.
They're not gonna.
They're hiding forever.
They're just done.
Okay.
Maybe in the spring.
Okay. We got a few months though. Okay.
Tuesday, November 5th, 2024.
Okay. Very good. All right. Real fast. Does America miss Trump?
I think America misses Trump policies, absolutely.
A lot of America does.
Absolutely, especially the media.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know if they miss Trump, but I think they'd like a redo. According to McLaughlin, if the election were held today, Trump would win by about 7 points.
All right. Very good. Don't go anywhere. When we come back from the break, we cover which topics our panel thinks is important. But first, we wanted to leave you with this clip from the actual White House Christmas celebration.